is me, Sky Butterfly, right here in Style Atlanta. And I just love bringing you some of the hottest people out there that are just doing amazing things. And none other is the most hottest person right now. You got a really hot movie out, Dwayne Johnson Cochran. How are you? Now, in case you guys aren't familiar with the name, Heist 88. Yeah, you've probably seen it on Paramount Plus or Showtime. This is like one of the #1 streaming movies of 2023. Wow. Welcome. Welcome to Inside Atlanta. Thank you so much for chopping it up with us.
Yes, thank you for letting me be here. Yeah.
So now I got to tell you, I was just reading your background. Now, you are a writer, but you started off, you went to school to become a geologist.
That's correct. I went to school, got my degree in geophysics and geology, and did that for a while. I knew, I got a minor in English, but I kind of knew that was not going to be my path. And I was working and in the field, and I love science, but I just knew, no, this is not going to be it. And I shifted and went back to Chicago and started completely a whole different life. And
right. So from there, now you were also a news reporter, and obviously as a news reporter, a lot of times you set up your own cameras and got to record yourself. So that's like from one extreme to the next, but which just goes to show it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're doing in life. When you're calling, it's calling you, you're going to go to your calling. And clearly that was part of the doors that was opening up. Now, from my understanding, now if you guys haven't seen the movie of Heist 88, now Courtney Vance and his wife Angela Bassett, they are producers and also directors of this movie.
executive producer. Yeah.
And it's based on a true story.
Yes.
Which
story. Yeah.
you've covered.
Yes. Back in the 89, I was a baby reporter, actually a producer for a nightly news organization in Chicago. It was a PBS station, and we had to go out every night with the microwave truck and record news, and you had to cut it up and it'd be on the 7 o'clock news. So that was my job. I was, one of the producers who go out with the crew and the cameraman and the reporter, and you find the story. And they said, hey, go down to the Dirksen Federal Building. There's a big heist that happened, and they caught the guys and, record it. So we did it. It was like done, cut, next, on to the next thing. And then years later, a good friend of mine, a producer in Chicago, she called me and said, you really need to look at this story you and I worked on. We did it years and years ago. And I looked at all the information she sent me, and I thought it was amazing. Her name is Beverly Price. She's a great producer. And she said, this could be a TV show. This could be a movie. It could be one of the two things. And I said, let me think about it. I called Courtney. He said he liked it. He said it was a good idea. He loved to play the guy. And so we went on this sort of journey of trying to set this thing up, and we set it up at FX, and it didn't go there for a series. It didn't go there for, we went to HBO. It didn't go there as a series, but when we got to Paramount, they wanted to make it a movie, and we made a movie, and it turned out that I compressed, this 6-part sort of limited series into, one movie, and it turned out much better, actually, in a lot of ways.
What kind of research did you have to do?
A lot of research. This character is out there. He was in prison when we did the first part of the research, and it was, it's one of those stories which is in the public domain, so you can actually go out there and look at all the news reporting, look at all the sentencing stories and guidelines that he had to go through, all the things that the judge was saying about him, and they said some remarkable things about him, that he was this guy who was a mastermind, who he could convince people to do almost anything if he puts his mind to it. And he did a lot of different things, a lot of different crimes. And this one was actually the one that I thought was most amazing. So I just sort of kept reading. And then I saw a story on Dan Rather on the CBS Nightly News the day after the heist back in 1988. there was a story on the nightly news of, the national news. I pulled that out of the research, looked at how they drew these men who were the people who were caught. You couldn't quite tell if they were black or white. It was very hard to figure out. They didn't say they were black because there was so much money. I don't think they wanted to really emphasize that black folks have been this smart to do this kind of crime. And I thought, these guys are black. This is interesting, So it gave me another layer of both who they were, who he was, and what was going on in Chicago in 1988, which was a lot of things happening in that city at the time. So I layered that into the story.
Now, did you have to get any kind of permissions or anything to move forward with this?
When you say permissions, you mean like rights for anybody?
Right. So any of the participants involved in this robbery, the actual true to life robbery?
No, our lawyers took
I
care
don't
of
know how
that.
that works, but
The lawyers took care of it, and they say it was all good.
wow.
Yeah.
So you guys are the highest streaming movie on Paramount Plus 2023.
Yeah, I
What did
found that
that
out.
feel like? Did you even imagine when you put this together?
When I put it together, I thought that we could get it made. And I've made a few films and a couple of TV series, and it's hard to get anything on the air. Really is hard. Hard to get things in the theater. Hard to get things greenlit. Hard to get someone to say, "Let's go to the next level and get your next check." I mean, every single little incremental thing that you do to get a film made through a studio is very difficult. And so I really didn't have high expectations. I just knew that if we can get on the set and make this film and really be, I guess, true to the story, then we can come out pretty good. And having Courtney B. Vance as a lead, he sort of anchored the cast. We really cast some great people in the story. We shot in Chicago where it took place. I'm from Chicago, so I was able to really maneuver all of the people involved, what this should look like and how it should look, and the city, the street, the clothes, the cars, the environment of the city, the feeling of the city. That was kind of really important for me. So now whatever happens is gravy. So I'm really, really excited.
How did that relationship with Courtney and his wife, how did that come about?
I've known Angela and Courtney for almost more than 20 something years, just professionally. You kind of meet somebody and you're like, oh, we have the same kind of vibe about what we kind of want to do professionally. It was years and years ago. And I met Angela through a friend in Chicago. And then I met Courtney in LA. And then we started to talk about different projects. And then I cast him in my first film. My first movie is called Love in Action in Chicago with Regina King and Courtney and Kathleen Turner, Jason Alexander, Ed Asner. It was a fun little comedy, screwball comedy that I directed with him. And we became really fast friends. And from there, we just sort of thought about what else can we do? What else can we come up with? Documentary, feature, TV series that we can, create together that would put the stamp of both of our sort of ideas out there. And we've been doing it for a long time.
Feature film or documentary? Which one is more of your passion?
Boy, that's a really tough one. I love documentary. I've made so many of them. I would say feature film because you can control the image and you can really control the image. With documentary, you're shooting and whatever comes, you have to like cut it together and make sure the story comes together because you can't write a documentary. It writes itself if you have a good sense of how to tell a story. With feature film, if you are a good storyteller and it's on the page, you can really, really control the image that's being shot. So I would say I'm a cinephile. I love movies and I love films from all over the world. So I would say feature films.
Yeah, so all over the world. Yeah, I see you've pretty much taught on several different continents. So it's pretty amazing. I do want to talk about your passion for teaching because it's evident in all the roles that you've taken in terms of
Yeah.
being an instructor.
I like teaching because it makes me a better artist, a better writer, a better director, a better producer. When you sort of let go what you know, and you really give it to people who are really looking for a way to get into both into the business, but advance themselves a little bit more, it helps a lot. I first started teaching at USC, fellowship program that was actually sponsored by Bill Cosby. And he had me be one of the professors for 11 years. Uh, Bill was a real advocate for getting more Black people behind the camera, writing and being showrunners and being feature writers. And a lot of those people who went through that program have gotten Oscars and Emmys. And I was very proud to have taught some of those people. And then UNESCO, over the years, have asked me to teach in Sierra Leone, in Kenya, Mozambique. I did 3 times in Ethiopia and Russia. And I think when you teach your way of making films to an audience, and you're thinking about how they want to make films that will premiere at, say, the Cannes Film Festival or the Venice Film Festival or Berlin, they are looking at, from their background, how will the world see them? So you have to tie in what you know to what they have, and it's a real marriage, and it's real quick because you only have a month to teach these seminars, and I really enjoy it. And you get to also see the country. So it's been a win-win for me when I go and teach.
The way of passing down a legacy, just a little, just a little bit of you in each student that you come across, which is pretty
Yes.
exciting. I know our time is limited, and you're such a fascinating human, as much as I would like to keep going. But what I do want to know is what is next on the horizon for Dwayne? What do you have coming up? A passion project maybe you're working on, or
I'm working on, let's see, a historical book that I'm adapting right now, a new project that I'm working on as a writer, which will be a limited series. I'm working on a new series that, it's like a big action thriller. And then I'm working with a few projects with Bassett Vance that we have there, biopics that we have there that I'm a part of as a producer. And I'm maybe going back to Ethiopia or Kenya next year to do a class. And I'm trying to direct a film next year. So I'm trying to put one together as a director. So it's trying to advance, both what I try to put out there as a filmmaker, and try to find people to work with who will be great collaborators. Because, as they say, the high tide raises all boats. And that's what I try to do.
leave one piece of not information, but just one piece of advice for someone out there who may be watching, who may be stuck being in the science field, and say, you know what, I kind of want to step out, be an inspiration provider for them right now.
Inspiration I would give anybody who wants to be in the writing film business, or basically trying to be in TV, is they always say, follow your passion, write what you know, that kind of thing. That is true. You can probably dig deep, and the well is very, very deep when you write things that you know. But I think more than anything else, the example of good movies and good television show is going to be, in good writing and novels, is a ticket for anybody who wants to become a writer, a director, or a producer. Because you watch, you read, and you really, really kind of take in all that great work. That's only going to be the way. It's going to be the way, no matter what school you go to, that you can actually learn how to do this. If you do not, if you watch mediocre material, things that just are baseline, you're not going to become good. You won't break through. People won't call you.
This has been so amazing. Heist 88, Paramount Plus, you guys, go check it out. Get in the mind of Dwayne. It's an incredible mind.
Showtime. Also on Showtime.
Yes, also as well. And we definitely can't wait to see what you've got next. If people want to check you out? Are you on any social media platforms? Now, I did see several of documentaries and items that you did film on your YouTube channel. So
Oh, good. Oh, good. Thank you.
yes, very interesting, very artistic. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Instagram, Dwayne Johnson Cochran altogether. Yeah.
All right, you guys go follow him. I'm Sky Butterfly in Style Atlanta. As always, thank you so much for joining us. Dwayne, thank you so much. Go catch your flight. And I can't wait to see what you got coming up. I will be glued. So amazing. Thank you again.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. See you again. Bye-bye.